It was a quiet night in Medina. The sky was adorned with countless stars, casting a soft glow over the narrow streets of the city. A man dressed in simple clothes walked silently through the town. He carried no signs of power, no guards, and no luxuries, just the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. This was not just any man. This was Umar ibn al-Khattab, the Caliph of the Muslims, known for his justice, humility, and deep concern for his people. As Umar walked, he suddenly heard the faint cries of children from a small house. He stopped and listened carefully. The sound of hunger was unmistakable. Moved by the cries, he stepped closer to the house. Outside, a frail old woman sat near a small fire, stirring a pot. The dim light of the flames illuminated her tired face, etched with lines of hardship. Inside, three young children sat silently, their small hands clutching their empty stomachs. Their eyes, filled with hunger, searched for food that did not exist. Umar stood there for a moment, observing the heartbreaking scene before him. Then he stepped forward and gently addressed the woman. "Oh, mother, what are you cooking in the pot?" he asked. The old woman sighed, her voice weak yet filled with pain. "Only water and stones," she said. "I have nothing to feed my children. They cry from hunger, so I pretend to cook, hoping they will fall asleep before realizing the truth." Umar's heart tightened. He took a deep breath, struggling to contain his emotions. "But why have you not sought help from the Caliph?" he asked softly. The woman looked up, unaware of who stood before her. Bitterness filled her voice as she replied, "Where is Umar? How can he call himself the leader of the believers when he does not know the suffering of his own people?" Those words struck Umar like a heavy blow. Without another word, he turned and walked swiftly away, his heart burdened by the weight of responsibility. He headed straight to the treasury, where sacks of flour, dates, and other essentials were stored for the poor. Without hesitation, he picked up a heavy sack of flour and threw it over his back. His companion, Aslam, rushed forward. "O leader of the believers," he said, "let me carry this for you." But Umar shook his head firmly. "Will you carry my burden on the day of judgment, Aslam?" he asked. Aslam fell silent. He understood that this was not just an act of charity. This was a lesson, a duty, a reminder that leadership was not about power. It was about serving the people. With the heavy sack on his back, Umar walked through the quiet streets of Medina, his feet pressing into the sand with every determined step. When he reached the woman's house, he gently placed the sack on the ground. Then, without revealing his identity, he knelt down and began preparing food himself. He took the flour, kneaded the dough, and lit the fire with his own hands. The flames flickered, casting shadows on the walls as he cooked. The aroma of warm, fresh bread filled the air. The children, who had been weak and silent before, now watched in anticipation. Soon Umar served them the food, his hands moving with care as he placed pieces of bread into their tiny hands. The children ate eagerly, their faces lighting up with joy. The old woman watched in amazement. Tears welled in her eyes as she looked at the kind stranger who had not only brought food, but had personally cooked for them. "May Allah bless you, O kind man," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "You are more merciful than Umar ibn al-Khattab himself." Umar smiled softly, his face partially hidden by the flickering firelight. As he stood up to leave, he simply said, "Perhaps Umar is not as bad as you think." And with that, he turned and walked away into the night, his silhouette disappearing into the quiet streets of Medina. He did not wait for thanks, nor did he seek recognition. For Umar ibn al-Khattab, the true reward was knowing that no one under his rule would go to sleep hungry that night. And so the great Caliph, the leader of the Muslims, continued his journey, not in palaces of gold, but in the hearts of the people he served.